help us today. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. I just feel like God is doing some things very important for us. There are things that God is moving in and He's working out in us. It's October the 14th, 2025. I'm still feeling God's hand, and as I'm learning how to listen and knowing that it is a door, the door to the secret place is opening for us. I feel that. I feel that. And everybody wants to know what the Lord is saying through that door for the secret place, and I'm steadily listening for what He's saying. I want to say again, I just know that God is doing some great things. As you're sharing this page, Green, Helena Addison, Rochelle Lee, Jill Tolliver, Ponder, Beth Daniels, Betty Smith, those that are on the YouTube, I just got to say that God is doing something supernatural. I happen to be on this morning on the I Am the One broadcast, thanking God for the opportunity that Apostle Davis was able to allow me to come in and fill in while he was driving to the airport, which is an honor. I want you to know that it's an honor. Those things are honors. You may not see it as that. Oh my goodness, that was nothing. It is a lot. If someone trusts you to do something while they're driving and taking care of one thing, and you can be trusted with another. And I'm so grateful for that. And I was so grateful to be a part of the Shift Conference, which you're going to hear me talk about a lot, because you can't go to a conference and not come back and carry out what God is doing in the life of the believer. I don't understand that. When you come back, you don't complete your assignment. So what did you go for? I mean, I had an assignment, I completed the assignment, but I had also something I had to do when I got home. And it worked. Oh, God, it did work. So it's just been one of those things. God is speaking to us about this year, 5786. He's also letting us know that there are things that are going to flow through this year. Heaven has nailed it down for us. It is definitely a shift, and how to work with this shift is very important. I got to say again, good morning, Grand Rising to all. I keep this pad before me because it reminds me of my assignment that I had when I was in Birmingham. I have to rewrite most of it. It means a lot to me because I have to go back to that as a point of reference for some things that are taking place in my life. So when I get into a place or where it may be that I'm missing something, good morning, Sharon Fritz, T, Bountiful, Utah, and Salt Lake City, Utah. And then for Betty Carter when she comes on, and Auntie, that's for them. I mean, you got to get it together. You got to really know that God is speaking. And I use that as a point of reference, not only for what was happening there that I have to keep up with, because every one of those portals that opened in that service, the portals that opened during the shift, I have to remember. So there are things that are going on in my life that I have to remember I was a part of that. There's no excuse. It reminds me that there's no excuse for me to stop when I was a part of what God was already doing and sealing in my life as well as others. So I just want you to understand that. And I'm just into what God is saying. And then there were people that I was able to pray for. There are pastors. I won't forget any of them in my prayers. Their faces are always before me when I go before the Lord. They probably think I'm a little off. And they say, he doesn't know me, but I don't have to know you to know how to pray for you, that's for sure. And so I'm grateful for that. To our producer behind the scenes, I want to say thank God for him. That's working very hard to push us into the next set of things we need to do. You know, we're still trying to reach our goal. We're about $550 away from it, $550 away from it. But I'm going to continue to push on. Thank you for all of you that helped us to get to where we are. So, look, when heaven nails it down, you got to understand the power of what God is doing. There are people in the church, in my own church, as well as those that I come in contact with in the body of Christ. It is It is necessary, and it is that we must realign ourselves to get the assignment done. I love to laugh. I love to have a good time. Most people that know me know I will get a good laugh in, or I'm a good jokester at times. But even in that, I'm going to find what God really has in store for people to make some moves. And so this is not just a year, it's a hinge. 5786 is the nail that dry. It's the divine nail, the sacred hook, fastening heaven's breath to earth's bones. You're going to hear me say it again. It's the moment where grace meets grit, where prophecy becomes blueprint, and where your mouth becomes a mantle. I like that, where prophecy becomes a blueprint. Very important for you to recognize. You've heard enough, and I have to say that. Please bear with me right here, because I feel the Lord is really moving, and I want to make sure I get this out. You've heard enough, and now it's time to become the word that you've heard. Now it's time to become the word that you've heard. To rise from the rubbles of routine, and build altars with our obedience. This is the year when the mouth becomes movement, where the mouth becomes movement, not just a bunch of noise. Your movement, you're speaking with movement. Whether it's that I'm going to clean my house, do the backyard, rake up the leaves, rearrange things, going to paint while it's the time I'm inside, I'll paint. However you're going to do it, rearrange the closet, whatever you need to do, this is the time to make your mouth movement, cause movement, where declarations drive destiny, and where every yes you whisper echoes through generations. Wow. So speak, reformer, move, builder, rise, remnant, because the shift isn't coming, it's already here and waiting for our response. Yeah, you're going to hear me go over some of this. We talked about it on Friday, and I want to get you in on it, bring you up to speed. You know, why 5786 to manage your movement? Because 5786 is a divine collision of grace, completion, and new beginnings, and connections. And connections. Somebody ought to say connections. So we know 5 is grace, the undeserved empowerment, the grace of God. 7, the finishing of cycles. 8, the new beginnings, the birthing of fresh assignments. That's what's happening for us. 6, the connection, the nail that drives the link. This is what God is doing, okay? And so this year asks us questions. It makes you, oh boy, it asks a lot of questions, people. So bear with me as I say these things. It asks the question, what are you building that heaven can inhabit? Can inhabit? What are you building that heaven can inhabit? When will you stop spectating and start activating? And I'm serious about that. I remember this Sunday, Sister Wasi was dealing with just trying to keep her voice together, just getting past fighting a cold. And she gave it her best in praise and worship. And it was just good to see her push, but also I saw the musicians working with her. It was a blessing to see that. So what are you building that heaven can inhabit? As she put forth the praise and worship, and the church came together and worshiped with her, we were building something together, an altar of obedience to flow with what was going on, and heaven could inhabit in itself inside the church. And things could begin to drop from heaven. Mantles could fall, and God could begin to move and speak to individuals. When will we stop being spectators and start activating some things? Some people are still sitting in spectators' pews. All they want to do is stand around and spectate, but they don't want to activate nothing that they're hearing. They don't want to become the word that they're listening to. It is time for us. Somebody ought to say, it's time. I no longer need to be a spectator. I need to activate. I spent some time last night and even early this morning. Whew, I got to slow down. I know I'm talking a little fast. But I spent time this morning and last night just in talking to the producer. And I was saying there's some things we just have to do. And he was with it. I said, no, I just got to go for it because it's time. I have to just go for some things. It's time. I'm seeking the Lord, as I'm making some steps. Now, is my knees shaking a little bit in it? Yes. Am I relying on some of his faith, walking on with some of his faith? Yes, but not as much as I was in the beginning, saying, well, look, I'm relying on your faith because I don't have all of this together. No, I came back from that shift conference, and when I came back, the Lord said, you better be ready for the switch. And when the switch came, I said, all right, then let me work with the switch. You're saying I need to be ready to do this? All right. He said, don't panic. Don't panic. Don't hit the panic button. I'm not going to hit it. So I had to stop spectating and start activating some things that he had given me. Nervousness was there. I'm saying that for someone, there was some nervousness, okay? There wasn't any hesitancy of what if it didn't work. That didn't bother me. My hesitancy was from within me of just not wanting to fail in the steps being made. I didn't want to be late on the pickup. I didn't want to cause no more delay. And if there's anybody to understand that, put a number 5 in. That grace number, thank God, undeserved, but God gives it to us anyway. I wasn't looking for another confirmation. I wasn't waiting on somebody to tell me this is what you need to do. I already had enough confirmation. What I needed from God was the strength in myself to believe that God was calling me to do it. And it was something simple. And listen, sometimes you have so many things you're facing. The burden is very heavy. And I'm going to say that to people, especially those of you that are under the financial weight of things, and you're trying to figure it all out. And I would encourage you to go back and say, Lord, help me with a plan. And you may get 6 or 7 plans before you get to the main plan. But don't stop. Look in my eyes as I'm looking into yours. Don't stop. Your eyes are filling with water right now because you said, I just can't do it anymore. And I know what that's like. But you got to ask God to continue to strengthen you. It will work. I'm sharing this with you people. It will. It takes hard work. You got to fight almost till your nails is in the dirt and filled up, and then clean your nails out, take a bath, wash yourself down, and say, okay, God, when I wake up in the morning, I'll go back at it again. Some things, it takes some time to get ourselves out of. We have been so deep in this thing because what some of us have not done was we never paid attention in the beginning. We saw it coming, and we refused to believe that we would go this deep into debt or into a situation. Can I talk to some people for real? We just did not think we were going to get this deeply down into it. We did, some of us did the right things, but we didn't always have the right partners with us. Okay? We just didn't have the right people with us. And there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, that's true. You know, even if those of us that are in ministry, we've done the right things, but we didn't always have the right people standing with us in belief. We have more spectators. I was grateful. The Lord said you have to get rid of the spectators. And so many times you'll find out, pastors and evangelists and leaders, you'll find out who your spectators are because when they leave, you'll find that some things never changed financially. You'll find out all they were was spectators. They didn't add nothing to it but just a body. And you thought you were really growing. Yeah, they were coming in body. They were utilizing the anointing that God had given you, but they were not participating. They were not activating the gift of God in your ministry. They were not supporting it. They weren't supporting it financially because the numbers never changed. Okay, somebody didn't like that, but somebody that really understand it, you put a 12 in. $10 and $2, $12. So when they really left your ministry, you felt the emptiness of the person, the bodies, but it didn't change anything financially. So that just goes to show you, you can't get hyped over people coming when they're only spectators and not participators. you can do more with people that are participators and activators than you can with all those spectators. Spectators fill the seats, but activators, they make it happen. All you need is 40 activators. All you need is 40 people that believe in what you're doing. 25 is a magic number, people. Yeah, I slurped that up. Ooh, okay. So that's it. So when will you stop spectating and start activating? Where is your altar, your scroll, your sound? Where is your altar of obedience? Where is your assignment? Where is your praise, your sound? Why are you still waiting when the wind has already shifted? That's why I had to get with it. Listen, I didn't have no problem looking at that producer. And even this morning when they came in, I said, I wish they were going to have a meeting today. I got to break off and get off of this early so I can meet with him before he had a meeting and see I can get this going. I have something I need to do. And I couldn't rely just on you. Now the Lord said, hey, you should be able to raise it for that platform. I said, okay. But when it did not happen totally like it should have, I can't go, well, the reason I can't do it, God, is because it didn't happen. There's nobody supported. I'm just giving you this as an example. Please listen to what I'm saying. I still have to move forward. My God, I know somebody caught that. I still have to move forward. You know, you still got to move forward when the wind has already shifted. See, I missed one shift of the wind when I was supposed to already have been in the South, according, and I know my prayer warriors and some other people. In October, it was October, I believe I was supposed to be already southward. But I won't miss the next one. I was graced this time. He graced me. And I always tell the truth because I want people to understand the move. You know, I don't like it when people don't tell the truth. And so you have a lot of people who are in ministry or doing ministry and they may miss something. And then when they miss it, it makes them feel so bad they don't get back up again. No, he's gracing me again. That's why I will be there next year. I will be in the South doing what I'm supposed to do. It's happening. I've already set the things up. Now, do I know the full assignment of it? No, but I'm making sure I do the legwork. And what's so funny is that God had people on the ground saying, we're ready to help you. They don't even know what I'm going to do. They said, we're just ready to help you. You need a paper plate, you need a book. What do you need? There you go. So I'm grateful for that. So I'm saying that. So where's my altar of obedience? Where's my assignment? The scroll of assignment. Where's my sound? Okay. Why would I still be waiting when the wind has already shifted? Okay. I want anybody that's dealing with that, you need to put in a number 2. I need someone to be in agreement with me that I will make the proper changes. So how will you respond when the mantle falls at your feet? And the mantle has fallen at many of our feet, but we haven't responded. We haven't picked it up. We're afraid. I wish that and I say this all the time and people laugh at me. I do pray. And I will never have a pastor like I had before. So I'm not looking for a Reverend Roberts. I'm not looking for him because I can't find him again. There won't be another one of him. But I was saying to you, when I had my pastor, I was grateful to have him. You know, and I always tell people, no, he wasn't perfect. And some of you are looking for the wrong thing. You're looking for a perfect leader. You're not going to get them. Okay? And if you do find them, I'll make sure I don't come in the midst because I would mess it up for you because you're already perfect and they're perfect. And I'm imperfect. Okay, so I wouldn't do that to you. But I'm saying I was glad to have him. Someone that understood me, that knew my name, understood who I was. And when they saw me, they said, all right, Kenny, what have you done? And now I may say I didn't do anything. They said, yes, you did. And I said, no, yes, you did. And when they would talk to me and talk, they weren't afraid of my face. They weren't afraid of this. You can get an attitude. He would say, Kenny, you can have all the attitude you want. That was just totally wrong. Now, I may have left that office And my mama said, with my butt on my hips, on my shoulder. But they would come down by the time I got out that door because I knew I was wrong. I had to get it together. I'm just like, I had attitudes like you all did. I just learned how to put them in check because I didn't want to mess up where I was going. I couldn't walk out there and talk to the people. I didn't talk to my friends about what happened. I didn't talk to other folk because I didn't want them to turn on something that I was a part of that caused some of the friction. Ooh, this is a good lesson right here. Talk, Pearman, talk. Yeah. And I had people come up and say, he got you. I know, because when they said this to me, I wouldn't do that. Because maybe what he got you for was one thing. What he got me for was totally different. It may seem the same, but no. Because he would explain what he was getting at me for. And 9 times out of 10, he was correct. And he would say, I don't always want to be right, Kenneth. I don't want to be right with all of this. But I'm letting you know. And he said, sometime I wish I was wrong. And I understood it as I grew older in the Lord and pastored the church. You wish you could just be wrong about some things. It's like a parent. They don't always want to be right about what they tell their children. They would hope that they could be wrong, that you did make the right friend, and they were trying to tell you that this one is not going to work for you. They're hoping that maybe they are wrong. Maybe they got it wrong, but in their gut, they know they're right. So how will you respond when the mantle falls at your feet? And we have to get there. And if I had my pastor, I know I would be talking to him. I got something I need to work on. He said, well, you need to work it like this. What is God really speaking to you? Look, Genesis 1:1 says, God created the heavens and the earth. You are the and. That's what I'm trying to say. You are the and. All right? You are the and. You are the connector. So when he said, I created the heavens and the earth, you are the and, that in between. You're the connector. You got it? Genesis 1:1. James 1:22. Be doers of the word. He's saying, look, build what you've heard. Move what you've received. Moved on what you received. I'm building what I've heard the Lord say. I'm moving on what I've received. And sometimes it brings tears to my eyes because I'm saying, Lord, you've given me this, all of this. What do you want me to do? I'm not talking about a building. I'm just talking about life ministry. And he said, well, why are you looking at the bigger picture, which is wonderful? Now ask me how should you move in it? Don't be overwhelmed by the big picture. Ask me how do you want me to move in it to obtain and complete the big picture. If this is blessing you, put in a number 2, power of agreement. Obedience, that's what it's all about. Can I be obedient? I'm going to be a doer of his word. And I'm building what I have heard the Lord speak, and I'm moving on what I've received from him. I'm seeking the wisdom of God, good counsel from people that would give it to me. That's why I learned that, some of you, you're upset because people don't talk with you. I'm speaking of those of you that have a sound mind, okay, not all over the world, because they can't talk to you because they know when they come, they have to come right. I've had people come to me and they'll say, I'm this, that, and the other. And I said, but if you're all of this and God has gotten you trained and you told me how God trained you this to do this and you've done all of this and God did all of this through you and you used to be the best Sunday school teacher and then you were the deacon and then you were the evangelist and then you were all of this. I said, but wait a minute. You mean to tell me if you did all of this and somebody said this about you, you're complaining? You're about to pack your bags and run? Something's wrong with the picture. Because if you did all of this, they talked about you being everything that you were. And you're going to tell me you're about to pack your bags? No, you're not ready for it. You came to the party unequipped. Ooh-wee. Okay. All right. So there's new beginnings that are taking place in your life. And I pray this is blessing somebody. I need you to get ready for it. I'm ready. Isaiah 43 verse 19 said, I'm doing a new thing. Will you not know it? Don't just perceive it, partner with it. I have some great people in my church, and I have to say that honestly. And they partner with me to the best of their ability. And I don't believe in my heart, I don't believe that they would let the church just go down to nothing. I just don't believe that. Because they've proven thus far that they've stood with me through some storms. And when they know it's something really something on the burner, they said, Lord, here we go, Lord, help us today, God. As all of us do. Lord, here they come. Now, do I have this extra $100 I'm going to give or $50 I'm going to give? But I'm going to have to partner with them. Let me just work with this. Don't come back next week. I'm having a good time with this. Because, see, some of you want to make it deep and all want to go to acting deep and go to crying and We have to build those things. We have to know that there are new beginnings and God is doing new things in us and learn how to partner. I believe it's Wednesday that my sister is going to be doing something and she's going to give us information, I think, tonight. That's right. Tonight is church at 7 p.m. And I'm happy about it. When they have the 10-10 prayer, I'm happy about it. They're going to have a whole new assignment. I just come back from the shift conference. And I got some stuff that I have to give to some people for the 10-10. I'm happy about it because it's a new beginning. I meant to tell that to my prayer partner early this morning. Okay, so divine assignments are happening. Ezekiel 3 verse 10. Receive my words in your heart and hear them with your ears. Let the word pierce, then let it pour out and through you. It's a legacy movement that you have. Okay, Hebrews 11 verse 3, by faith we understand the worlds were framed by the word of God. Your words, my words, frame worlds and speak legacy. When we learn the power of that, it changes our lingo. It helps us to speak differently. And I'm telling you, I've been practicing this and it has been something that has really worked on me, really, really, really worked on me. And I have to say, God help me. I have to rethink, slow my words down. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I think people really understand this. And I want to pause right here to ask you to share this page with somebody right now and hit that like button. That helps the algorithm of our broadcast. Put them thumbs up in there, please, if you would, on YouTube, Facebook. I need you to do that real quick for me and share. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the page. I need you to do that. I need you to do that. So your words frame worlds and speak legacy. Oh, God, I feel something there. You sure do. Corinne, you got it. You do. I know you do. I know you do. Sonia, that's right, they surely do. So I'm always praying. I am a prayer warrior of I always call it some time of no return. I just go on and go on and go on. Wortham, good morning to you. You don't know, sometimes people don't know just how much you pray for them, and you're one of those that I do, more than you can imagine or think. But I want you to share this page. But don't forget to hit that like button. Hit that like button, people. He's going to let me go. Lala, I didn't forget you. I met you right there in Birmingham. Betty, and I met you in Birmingham. I met so many people in Birmingham. That praise team was off the chain. Those greeters, I was laughing. Let me tell you, they were at maybe three different doors. No matter what door I came in, they would leave one at the door and they would take turns. They would come give me a hug. Oh, I'm telling you, it was on and popping down at Refreshing on last week. Okay, so we have to work with the divine ship that God gives us, and how we did consecrate our mouths. While we're doing that, he's gonna let me know in a minute how many of you did this, and I take it very seriously that you hit that like button. It's very important. So we consecrate our mouths. because our mouths are a mantle. We fast from idle speech. That thing got me. It got me some kind of good. It got me some kind of good. You know, you just have, that got me some kind of good. And when I was talking with my sister the other day, and we were about to do something, she said, we got to watch what we say now. We got to watch what we say. I said, okay. So speak only what builds, breaks, or bursts. That was something I began to do a lot more of. Spoke only what builds and what was going to break through and things that would birth. And I began to look for things I could speak that would do that. You know, you got to know that. And I think Butts is on here. All right. Well, we could do it. That's good. We had 28 of those likes and 9 shares. I think we can do better with the shares on Facebook, but we're going to work on that. I'm grateful. So to Butts, I think I saw her on here. I know that God is doing great and wonderful, marvelous things in your life and changing things within your ministry and building you along the way. You have no idea how God is building you and strengthening you and your family in the ministry. You have no idea what God has over your head and how he's moving and blessing you. You have no idea the portal that's over you and how it drops down, and because you have to ask God to show you what he's actually doing because you're so busy producing. I just had to say that. You got to discern the divine hooks that God has in you. Now, not every door is yours, people. Not every door is yours. I know every door is not mine. Even when I was at the Shift conference, there were people that I had nothing to say to. And I remember somebody came to me and said, I know you got a word for me. And they just looked at my face and stared. I said, I'm not going to tell you that I have a word. The Lord has not spoken. And they said, you got a word. I said, not right now. And I said, don't push me, because the word I may have to end up giving you because you're forcing it may not be what you want to hear. Let it come organically. I was very nice. I wouldn't, some of you just go on and say, let me see what the Lord is going to say. Maybe the Lord, I wasn't going to stir no pot. And probably when I came back that next morning, and they were walking, I just tapped them on the shoulder. I said, this is what the Lord is saying. They had given up. I said, you didn't have to give up. All you have to do is wait on the Lord. So not every door is yours. Not every person you see that the Lord speaks to you about is for you to speak to. Look for prophetic patterns, peace and purity. Look for that prophetic pattern in your life. Does this fit into that pattern that God was speaking to you in? And if it goes off a bit, how far does it go off the path? And what is God speaking to you? Why is it happening? Is there a peace about what God is giving you? Even though I'm about to make this leap into doing what I need to do, I have a peace, although there's a nervousness, but it's still a peace. I think somebody understands what I'm saying right there. And the purity of God is with me. I feel his pureness in it. And so if it doesn't carry heaven's weight, it's not your assignment. I have the weight of God with this. It carries heaven's weight and assignment with me. So I know it's God's assignment. I have to build legacy structure. I know you got this. And I'm going over it again. Yes, I want you to have it because it's important for where you're going. And I encourage you to be with me the rest of this week because there's a shift that's taking place. And we're building because when we get to the South, I don't know, it's somewhere between the Carolinas and the Georgia area, whether it's Atlanta or wherever it is, it's between those two areas. I'm not sure where it is, but I know that wherever it is, it's going to happen. That's all I can say. And then we're headed right back up to Prayer on the Mount. I need for you to get ready for it, and it's going to be really something powerful. So, you create these resources as you're doing what God is giving you. You build resources. Who are the people that I talk to that have the wisdom to help me carry it through? I know some people, when they say to me, they say it's hard to catch you because I don't know when to really catch you because sometimes it's really hard to get me. And I'm not going to tell you no tale. It is very hard. And I always tell people, if you want to talk to me, I had somebody say to me one time, sometimes you say you only got 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and I feel rushed. I said, don't feel rushed, because if you know what you got to say to me, get that out first. You say, hey, I need to talk to you about the hat ministry, and let's talk about that first, because then if there's any grace left that we can just talk about life, we can, but you got what you needed out first. That's why I tell people exactly what I have, because sometimes I have 25 to 30 calls, sometimes 50 calls in a day. That's a lot of calls, people. That's a lot of calls. Not to mention what's on my backlog that I have to go back in and return. But that doesn't mean you go, well, I knew you were busy, that's why I didn't want to call you. You do what you're supposed to do. That's left up to me. I got somebody right there. So you want to build those resources. Who do I have in my life? I need to list them. Who do I have as a mentor that when they do talk with me, I leave inspired? You know, sometimes when I tell people call me at a certain time and they call, I may be on that line I can't click over, but I'll call them right back when I finish. They say, oh, I thought you forgot about me. I can't forget about you. I already have you listed. Ooh. You know, so you want to build up, what are my resources? What books do I need to read? Is there something I need to see that models some of the things that I'm supposed to do? Because although it may be new to my community, it's not new somewhere else. Somebody else is doing something similar to what I'm doing, and I need to see it, see what it looks like. I hope this is blessing somebody right here. And so you want to do that. You want to learn how you can equip others after you get your thing going. How am I supposed to equip others? And how do I do that? Because I'm not just doing this for myself. I need to get it together for myself first. And then I need to get it together that I can help or train someone else to be able to help carry this on. Okay, we'll leave that alone right there. One of the things I had to say about when I met Corinne, she may have been at a distance, but this girl didn't miss anything that I was doing. She didn't miss anything. She took it all in. She would be at a distance, but I could feel her just taking it all in. And when she could come up on me, she did without hesitation. She didn't come and grab me up like anybody else going to talk to me. She come right up. She stated what she needed to state, said what she needed to say. She said, thank you very much. Okay? Okay. I'll see you on the next round. I always say that because I remember what she did. It stuck with me. You want to move in obedience. Don't delay. There were things I had to do when I was at the shift conference. I didn't delay. There was one of the apostles that were there. He had the baddest suit on. I tell you, that suit was so good. If I had been his size, I'd have told him, go home and get yourself tell somebody to bring you a tracksuit back. You ain't going back with this suit. Okay, that suit was sharp. I love clothes, all right? Now, you said you just deviated off. I just have to tell you how it is. His suit was it just said everything. But the suit actually was prophetic in what he had on. So I said, Lord had given me something for him. The first time he said, okay. He waited. I saw him waiting, and someone came up to speak to me, and they kept coming. And then I had to leave because I had to go do something. I could see it in his face. He said, all right. He went on and did what he had to do. The next time he came, somebody else had jumped up. But that last time, it was the last night, Brother Man zipped around. I was looking for him because I said, I got to give him this word. Without delay, he made it his point to get there. And even though people came, when he sat down, I said, this is his time. I spoke to the people, because you don't shun people, ever. I spoke to the people that I gave him just what I could give him at that time. And I wanted to make sure that he got it. Why am I saying it? Don't delay when God gives you an opening. I did that. That's how I missed coming to the South. But God graced me. That's all I can tell you. He graced me. That's it. Sometimes God gives you the grace. He don't punish you. He'll just grace you, because what you've learned from that grace period, you know you won't do it again. You don't have to go through nothing. You ain't got to have nothing taken away from you. He just graced you enough. You said, no, 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 I won't allow that to happen again. If there's anybody to understand that, put a 5 in. So when God nudges you, respond. He nudged, respond. I will never forget that conference. I will never forget those pastors there. None of them. I spoke to some of them. One guy and his wife, they were from Atlanta. I won't forget them because they're on my prayer list every morning. Since I've been back, when I went back to my room, that night I was praying for them. Through the night I prayed for them. And every morning they're on my prayer list. And I met a Reverend Pitts that was out there in Birmingham, always on my prayer list. I watched him. I watched his spirit. So obedience is the oil that keeps the fire burning. Wow. So you got to know the nail and the flame is something different. There's a prophetic declaration you have to understand. 5786 is not a calendar flip. It's a covenant hinge. And if you feel the pull, the fire, the call, then come. I didn't fight going to the shift conference. I'm not fighting the aftermath. And I'm ready to move in the switch. When I got to the room the first morning, we were coming on. I didn't have my stand because Big Mouth Kenneth said, well, I'm not going to do the broadcast because there's a lot to take all this stuff down there and then set it up. And you know Apostle Davis, all right, Pastor Pearman, we going to be coming on in the morning, right? And I had sent him, I said, do you have a stand? He didn't have a stand for me. He said, well, we'll see. I said, I'll make it work. I found a way to prop that phone up and be ready in that room to be on that broadcast. Why? Because I felt first of all, there's a covenant that I had with God in reference to coming to the shift conference. All right. I didn't want to break that covenant. Number 2, I had to be on because there was something that needed to be shared because I had another part of the assignment that I now have surrendered to. Surrendering is the best thing you can do. Number 3, I had a covenant with the pastor, with Apostle Davis concerning making sure I was in place for that call. And number 4, I had a covenant to my church because I owed it to them to be able to do that broadcast because they were expecting to hear what had happened or what was God saying in that morning. Right there. So I felt the pull, the fire, and the call, and I had to come on. Oh God, that was good. That was good. I'm getting ready to break it down. I'm going to end it right here. And then there was a spoken word delivery. Release when heaven nails it down with rhythm and fire. Release when heaven nails it down. There's a release when heaven nails it down. And it's with a rhythm and the fire of God. All right? Oh boy, I'm so glad I'm just about finished right here. And so I want to invite you to write down what you're connected to. What is your assignment connected to? Your mantle connected to? What is your what is it? And put it on a card and take a thumbtack and push through it and put it on a board. That's right. Nail it to a board, into something that, and make it like that altar, that prophetic board. This is what I must do. I'm surrendered to it. I thank you for allowing me to speak into your lives today. Because this is a very important broadcast on today. I pray that as we're moving forward, as we become more doers of his word and not just hearers only, that we build together and we strengthen one another through these broadcasts. And as we prepare to come to the South, as Pastor Apostle Nichols would say, Southland, we'll see what God is doing. And then we'll watch God stir the gift on the inside of us. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And as I get these things together today, I'm working on some things, but I need to get myself off here because I need to talk quickly to the producer about some things that need to move forward in. We do have that 550. If you would help us reach that goal today, it would be greatly appreciated. You can sow today, and we can reach that goal, and that would be how we would make that next platform. We make that platform, and we'll be able to complete it. I'm going to go on anyway because I know what the Lord is saying. But your support will make the difference in helping us to reach that goal. I would appreciate it if you would help us. And so your 20s, 100s would help. You know, if we had, I forget, what is it, 30, okay, maybe 25 people, 25 people gave 20, 30 people gave 20, 40 people gave 20 for that matter. If everybody gave 20, it would help us. We should move into overflow so we can just go in and take care of the following month of it. That would be a blessing. But we need to be able to move in it and get it all done. I would appreciate that very much. I've fed, I've given all that I have. I've sown into your lives that you all can be that much more richer in what God has given you. Won't you sow back into this good soil that I may be able to do even more to be a blessing to you and others. That's right, and others. It's about building a legacy, not just for me, but for others to be able to come to and be able to find strength, a word, and grace. Yeah. So I pray that you'll be able to do that. And I want to thank you for joining me today. Get up and wash your face, brush your teeth, rinse your mouth out. Oh, yes, rinse it out. And comb your hair all the way out. I look forward to seeing you back here for a Spiritual Warriors table. Ooh. On tomorrow morning. Don't miss it. I'm telling you, it's going to be good. Don't miss this broadcast. And I'll see you then. And I want to say bye for now. Oh, don't forget tonight, 7 p.m., we'll be in the sanctuary for those who will come. Come on out to that Bible study. It's going to be very interesting.